Keep it going for the man. All right. All right. Are you guys ready for our next comedian? All right. The woman coming to the stage right now, she is a comic down in New York City, plays all over the state. You can follow her on Instagram at mommysack11. I don't know how it's spelled on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Megan Gilbert.
Hey everybody, it's MOMMYSACK11. Yeah, thanks for coming out tonight, everybody. Coming to see me and my 2 Muppet boyfriends. It's a beautiful day. Oh man, so it's been a minute. I took a little break from comedy. I got sober. Yeah. And I've been killing it at my 3-minute shares. So I was like, hey, I'm Megan. I'm an alcoholic. How's everybody doing tonight? Bad? Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, a new job. This is not a joke, just an update. The CEO saw the catering I set up. He called it elaborate. And I said, thank you. And he said, that's not a compliment. Which was very cunty of him. I was like, okay, Devil Wears Prada. Let's go. Okay, so another thing to know, this is an album recording, right? Right, cool. I'm gonna be doing some oldies but goodies. You probably heard some of it before. Cool. If you could just laugh like you heard it for the first time. You know, like, I hope you dance vibes, okay? If anyone knows. Just like, that was amazing. That would be really great for my career. Thank you. Then maybe I can quit this weird job. Elaborate should be a compliment. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. All right, so did anyone's body change over the pandemic? Yeah! I lost all of my strength physically and mentally. But I did gain some weight. Give it up if you gain weight. Yeah, you know, this time around I decided I give up, which has been pretty cool. Because I still hate myself, but like, now I'm done, you know? Like, am I gonna wish I was skinny every minute of every hour of the day? Yes. But like, I'm not hungry anymore, and that's really nice. But you know, it's true what people say. Like, you get treated better when you're thin. Like, I had my own skinny legend moment when I was 11 years old. I became deathly ill and I just dropped a bunch of weight. And a lot of the adult women in my life were like, what's your secret? And I was like, you know, I don't know. I can't stay awake for more than an hour. But I do look great. And then I gained it all back when I got better, and they were like, shit, who's gonna fuck her now? It's okay, it's fine, I'm fine. I fuck, you know, we're good. Yes, thank you. So there have been some cool phenomena that have started to happen to me since gaining some weight. One of them is that I have this thing called body dysmorphia, which is where you look in the mirror and you're like, what? I don't know. And then you just go about your day. I bumped into a guy on the street and he called me a fat cunt. Yeah. And I was like, that's actually helpful information for me. You know, I was like, you, sir, a man who looks like that weird drawing of Calvin that's on the back of pickup trucks, you know, where he's like peeing in a corner and he's like, like, you are tethering me to reality. And I celebrate you for that. Oh, man, yeah. Good times. So the fair is weird. Bear with me. There's a lot of safety-related attractions at the fair. Am I right, ladies? One of my favorites is called Sobbing Uncontrollably While Getting Fingerprinted. And that's where, like, you're crying while this strange woman is fingerprinting you. And she says, what's wrong? You're fine. It's just like finger painting. And you say, I'm 3, and I know this is for when you find my body, but my teeth are gone. That's a dental records reference. My true crime heads out there. But my ultimate favorite ride is something called Escape the Burning Building, which is where you go into this like weird little trailer with a bunch of other kids. And there's a firefighter, and he has kind of like a darkness. He's like seen too much. And he says, if your house is on fire, just get out. Don't go back in there. And he says, you can get another Game Boy. You can get another Pokemon card. But we can never get another you. Riveting. It's like, don't even go back for your pets. And then everyone's like, whoa. And he's like, you're gonna feel bad about it. It would be weird if you didn't feel at least a little complicated about it. But don't go back in there. And then there's like a nightclub smoke machine that he switches on, so the whole thing fills up with smoke and you all crawl out the window. It's amazing. Some of the most fun I ever had. When I started doing this bit, a friend pulled me aside and was like, you know that's just the free shit they let you do at the fair, right? What? Who's planning the fair? Who's like, I know poor people have nothing to live for, so let's prepare them for death. For free! Fucking awesome! Okay, now I have some impressions for you, and I'm gonna warn you, I went to theater school, so these are gonna be really good. Thank you. I think that was my mom. Okay. Oh my God, I have a headache. It's a woman with a headache. Here's the next one. Oh my God, I have a headache. It's a woman pretending to have a headache. Here's my next one. Look, I'm doing groundbreaking research here, and if that means that I have to manually stimulate a dolphin to completion, I'm gonna fucking do it. That is a woman named Margaret Howe Lovett, and she did manually stimulate a dolphin to completion to teach them how to speak English. Worth it! And you know, she was actually getting somewhere. They were starting to say consonants when NASA pulled her funding. Yes, NASA funded this. It's called the Order of the Dolphin. Look it up. Okay, but anyway, it's real. Whoo, it's real. Okay, but anyway, I can't go there because then we're gonna go down a rabbit hole and I can't talk about the Order of the Dolphin for too long. Okay, so she's jacking off the dolphins. The dolphins are talking a little bit. It's cool. It's cool. NASA pulls her funding and gives it to some fucking guy. I won't even learn this guy's name. He was just like, I want to give dolphins LSD and just like see what'll happen. I'm like, you know what would make that easier? If they could tell us what it's like. Anyway. It's really hard being a woman in STEM. And I don't think that was very STEMinist of NASA. I mean, yeah, probably shouldn't do that. You can't touch a dolphin like that. You can't do it. Oh man, I tried to justify it for years. You can't. It's not okay. Time for a water break. How's everyone doing? Should I make use of the space? Yeah. I really liked that. That's the end of the dolphin material. I guess I'll stop doing it. All right, let's see. We were going to talk about dolphins, and then I was going to go seamlessly into my anger problem. I used to have an anger problem, not the hot kind with like a lady with a leather jacket who's like fighting for justice, but more of like a red flag, anger problem. Wow, it's still going. We're just gonna leave it. Just gonna leave it. Yeah, red flag, really not cute. Like, for example, there was this all happened in one night. I was on the subway on my way home, and this man was staring at me, right? And instead of just ignoring that, I went, "What?" And he said, "I'm looking at the ad behind you, sweetheart." And I said, "Well, you have a little dick." And that's not how I think all dicks are capable of great things, right? Like, no matter size, shape, color, creed, like, we can all accomplish anything. But, it was the anger and control. And then, luckily, I got on the train, I was walking home, and then I almost got run over by a smart car, which, if you don't believe me, one, believe women, and two, I jumped out of the way and it like swerved to aim at me. Yeah. And so instead of just going home and saying, "Wow, I'm so lucky I didn't die in the most embarrassing way possible," like, "I'm so lucky I didn't get mowed down by the chode of cars," I chased the car. Yeah, I chased the car. And it stopped at the next intersection because we were in Brooklyn, and that's how driving works there. And I screamed, "You almost killed me!" And then he said, "The light was green, sweetheart." And I was like, why is it that every time I start screaming, a man calls me sweetheart? Like, they're like, "I will just call her sweetheart, and then we will get married and have a marriage." I'm like, I don't know what that is. But anyway, then I said, "Your mother is a stupid bitch for raising you the way she raised you." Which, like, we don't know what she was working with. She probably did her best. There's only so much you can do. And then I reached into my bag to grab my glass water bottle to throw at the ground near the car as to avoid follow-up, right? And he screamed, "Go ahead and get your gun." And then I said, "You're crazy." Like, I'm not. And threw the bottle, and then the passenger in the car was like, "Drive, drive, 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 drive." And there were all these like huge cab guys, like very stoic dudes, like staring at me, and I was like, "He almost ran me over." And they didn't say anything. They were like, "Seems right." But anyway, I do still believe I was right. I did get home that night and I told my sister about it, and she was like, "You have to tell our psychologist Nabil about this." And the cool thing about Nabil is that he takes walk-ins on Saturdays. And so, like, you would think people were in line for concert tickets. Like, I'd be sitting in the hallway with a bunch of other crazy people, and so just waiting for Nabil. And he put me on this really great pill called Lamictal. It's a very common mood stabilizer. And it helps. And I know it helps because one time I was walking through Times Square and an old woman punched me in the back because it was really crowded and she couldn't get around me. And when I turned around, she like menaced at me, right? She did one of those. Oh, this is for an album recording. When I say menaced, I mean she lunged and then came back just to send a message. Just so that's clear on the album. And instead of just like bitch slapping her, I was like, "You are very old. Would you like to discuss this?" Totally de-escalated the situation. Oh my God. Okay, this part isn't a joke. I was actually on my way to this weird reality show. It's like one of my very few TV credits where I did, it was a dating show and they called me Bathroom Baddie as my alias. And I had to eat a really hot chicken wing because Keke Palmer told me to. And it was kind of like a fever dream. But anyway, that's just a story. You can ask me about it later. When Keke Palmer tells you to eat something, you eat it. I don't know. Anyway. So that's the anger problem stuff. Then, we're going to delve into more shame. Cool. More shame. Okay, more water, though, too. Is anyone else, like, really dehydrated? Yeah. They sell water at the concession stand. It's really good. Support your local theater. Okay. So I feel ashamed because I don't have any cute diseases. I've had IBS since I was 20, which I like to say it's triggered by stress. So I say, if I don't let myself cry, where do the tears go? That one's a thinker, kind of. And, I actually told this joke 2 weeks ago at our other recording, and I was like, give it up if you also have IBS. And no one clapped. Have you ever just stood in a room and been like, I have diarrhea a lot, and then no one's like, me too? It's humbling. I spent a good 2 minutes begging them to admit it. And they held strong. And I was like, I traveled so far for this. Woo. Suffer New York, there's something in the water, they're all shitting fine. Maybe I should move there. Okay. But I've had diabetes since I was 11. That's what made me so skinny before. And people are really supportive when you get diabetes, right? Like in the 7th grade, my English teacher stopped the class and he was like, all you kids do is complain that you don't have the new iPod. But Megan shoves a urinary catheter in herself every day and comes to school with a smile on her face because she fights for her education. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that's not how diabetes works. And also, he was kind of having, an oh, captain, my captain moment, More like, oh, catheter, my catheter. But in that moment, it was our catheter. And in that moment, I swear, we were infinite. Real ones know. What was the name of that fucking book? Do you guys remember that book? Oh, shit. I can't remember the name of the book now. Thank you, Kelly. My sister, everyone. Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's a sad book. Good movie, sad movie. But that's what that was referencing to. Okay, so that was cool. There was also walks, walks to end diabetes, which is, very brave. And people would wear shirts that said things like, my smile is my armor, my positivity, my shield, in the fight against type 1 diabetes. And it meant a lot to me. My uncle got a bumper sticker that said, my niece is in the honor roll and she does have type 1 diabetes because people with diabetes can be smart. Hashtag proud diabetes uncle. But when I got herpes, he did not get a bumper sticker that said, my niece has herpes and is doing her best at her entry-level office job. Hashtag proud herpes uncle. That didn't happen. What did happen is that I told my friends and they said, that's okay, everyone gets herpes. And I said, oh, do you have it? And they said, no, that's disgusting. And it makes dating a little difficult. In Brooklyn, it's fine. In Brooklyn, they're like, same. Or they're like, I'm also a comedian, so if I get it, it'll be great for my material. But up here, it's a little more iffy. One time I was making out with this dude, and he was like, wanna move it to the bedroom? And I was like, well, let's have the talk. When's the last time you got tested? And he was like, yeah, a month ago, and I'm clean. And I was like, ugh. Clean. Because God forbid you get an STD, then you're just a little shit pig. Just a little shitty little shit glutton pig who likes to roll in piles of shit and puddles of shit. And that's exactly what I said to him. And then he said, I'm in love with you, and now we're married. No, that's not what happened. I said, oh, cool. Well, just so you know, I have herpes, but I don't have an outbreak right now. Do you have any questions? And he, jumped back. And I was like, I'm gonna go. And then I felt bad about it for a year. Yeah. And any self-respecting woman, I decided a year later to send him a Facebook message. Yeah. Because that's what people with self-respect do. They think about things. They think about things for a year, and then they make a choice. And I was like... And I was like, all right. So I sent the message. I was like, hey, there's a lot of unnecessary stigma around herpes. Here's an illuminating article. Also, you really hurt my feelings. Yeah, I get that response a lot. It's like a mix of like, ha ha ha. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Like earlier, it's fine. I'm fine. I fuck. It's good. And then I was gonna immediately block because I don't actually want to have a conversation. I just want him to have the article. So I go to his Facebook and I realize that he does Hamilton cosplay. And I was like, who has the more unfortunate condition? And it was like, still me, because I've been thinking about this nerd for a year. Sweating someone who's like, I am not throwing away my shot. Like, he kind of did. Okay. Is anyone on the apps? A woo? Did I see a woo? Yeah, how's it going? Yeah. I feel like it's like fucking heinous out there, right? Yeah, it's really not okay. Wait, what? A lot of people had big responses just then. Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. I went on a date with a guy recently, and we figured out that we have the same therapist. And I was like, let's tell her together. And he did not text me back. And so later that week, I was like, Allison, that's our therapist. Why didn't he text me back? And she was like, Megan, you cried in his van. And I was like... Okay, and I know there's like 2 big bad words in there, cry and van. And also, I bet you're wondering why I'm crying, but a lady never cries and tells. Oh, I hope he's okay. That wasn't cool. Also, I'm like, a whole pandemic happened and we're not all crying on first dates? I don't know. I just think I actually crushed it, but like, it's fine. Oh, man. Okay. So, I have an identical twin, right? She's over there. Yeah, woo, that's Kelly. Have we ever kissed? No. But we are mentally and spiritually connected. And this is a story about that. So one time I was running to a film shoot. Thank you. Also, guys, I really want to put one of those hats on, but I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to do it. No. That was fun. That was some good crowd work, I think. So I was running to a film shoot, thank you. I was wearing clogs because clogs do everything heels do while making you look down to earth. So you're like, my ass looks great, my legs are long, but like, I'm just a girl, I'm ugly. You think I'm hot? Whoa, that's crazy. I didn't try at all. So I'm running in clogs. And this really hot dude in scrubs is looking at me, and I'm looking at him. And he's like, where's she going? I'm like, wouldn't you like to know? I'm running. And so I tripped over a crack in the sidewalk. And while I was flying through the air, I was thinking, like, mom didn't raise no bitch. Like, I was like, we're going, right? Like, I was like, it's going to hurt. We're going to get up, and it's just going to be fine. And then I heard a pop when I landed, and then I was just screaming, and I couldn't move. So it was New York City. A crowd formed. A man came out of a deli and like gave me a chair and like brought me over to the corner, and like hot scrubs man shows up, right? And he's like, "Who's your emergency contact?" And I'm like, "It's my sister." And so he calls her, and he's like, "We're going to this hospital," and he keeps her on the phone, and he's holding my hand like this, and he goes, "We're gonna have to reset the bone or you're gonna need surgery." And I was like, oh, cool, no thanks. I'm okay with that. That's fine, no thank you. And then he didn't say anything. And then I saw Paul Rudd cross the street. Just like a real New York moment, you know? And I was like, oh my God, it's Paul Rudd. And he said, who's that? Thank you. Thank you. I was like, literally, he's everywhere. But anyway, I said, it's Ant-Man. And then he said, say hello to Ant-Man. And he yoinked my bone back into place. And I went blind. Like, I don't remember this, but apparently my shriek was so disturbing that it immediately gave my sister diarrhea. And that is how we're connected. And I would just like everyone to give my sister a hand tonight. I asked her if I could do this earlier, and I was like, will you stand up? And she said, no, I have to pretend that I didn't know what's happening so that everyone thinks I have humility. Oh my God. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I had a great time, and I hope you all have a good night.
Megan Gilbert, ladies and gentlemen. That is our show. Thank you all for coming out here tonight. Give it a round of applause for all the comedians that came out here tonight. Megan Gilbert and David Britton. And the wonderful Mopco Improv Theater for letting us having us here tonight.